Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime, and it is time for the Sandy Olympics, or should I say Sandy Olympics. Now we're going to start off by breaking down the details of Sandy's attack, his super, his star powers, both of them, and then the other mechanics that are all involved around Sandy. And then we're going to put Sandy through all of the Olympics events that will help us better understand how he compares to every other brawler in the game. Lastly, I'm going to briefly talk about which modes I think Sandy is going to be the best in and give like an overall estimate on how OP he's going to be. Very OP. But before we jump into this, guys, there are more sneak peeks coming for this update, so make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you do not miss it, because even if you're subscribed, if you don't have that notification bell on, there's a good chance you'll miss a video. For starters, guys, Sandy is a legendary brawler, so your odds of unlocking him are going to be pretty slim, but you're going to want to, because like I said, very OP. Now regarding his artwork, I believe that he fits in with the same Arabian desert theme that I think will come in a future update that I also believe Jean and Tara are from. For his regular attack, Pebble Blast, Sandy throws a bunch of sand at his enemies, dealing 1,260 damage. And the attack does actually pierce through enemies, allowing Sandy to hit more than one brawler at a time. And another thing that's important to note is that the right side of his attack actually gets thrown out slightly faster than the left side of his attack, and in most cases this shouldn't impact things too much, but if speed is a factor, aiming slightly off center might actually help you reach an enemy sooner, making it slightly more difficult for them to escape. Now for his super, he summons a sandstorm that lasts for 12 entire seconds, and that makes it so that Sandy and friendly brawlers inside of it go completely invisible. That's right, guys, you heard right. 12 seconds of invisibility for your entire team. Now the super only works for brawlers, so turrets, bots, and other spawnables won't actually be hidden. Also, I don't know how beneficial this would actually be, but if Sandy is able to recharge his super within the time frame, he can actually throw down multiple sandstorms, allowing him to cover massive parts of the field. Another interesting thing to note is the fact that because we're dealing with actual invisibility and not sight within bushes, Bo's additional sight range from Circling Eagle does not allow Bo to see enemy brawlers within the sandstorm from an increased distance. He still can when they're within that 2-tile range, but not at 4 or 6 tiles. Now, as a quick note, brawlers who are carrying the Brawl Ball will be visible no matter what. It doesn't even matter if they're in the invisibility sphere. However, Leon, when he's invisible from his super and from the sandstorm, will also still be visible if he's carrying the Brawl Ball. Now Sandy is coming out with 2 star powers. I don't know if he'll receive both of them all at once, but Sandy's first star power is Rude Sands, where Sandstorm also damages enemies for 200 damage per second. Over the course of 12 seconds, we're talking about a total amount of 2,400 damage. That's not a whole lot, especially over 12 seconds, but it doesn't need to be a whole lot to be effective, because every second, the location of enemy brawlers will be revealed even if they are hiding in a bush, but they will not be able to see you unless you're attacking or if you're up close because you're hidden within the sandstorm. Now Sandy's second star power is Healing Winds, where it will actually heal friendly brawlers for 300 HP per second while they're within the sandstorm. Over the 12 seconds, we're talking about 3,600 health healed for each brawler. And if you're talking about yourself and 2 teammates, we're talking about 10.8 thousand healing for 12 seconds. And that's actually ridiculously insane for a star power. I like to compare it to like Rose's plant life, where if she's hidden in the bush, she recovers 200 health per second. Herself, only herself. Now, because Sandstorm covers a massive area, we're talking about a lot of added survivability for your entire team for those 12 seconds, especially considering the fact that they will be invisible while inside it and can basically just run away from people and they won't know where they're at. And yes, guys, multiple Sandstorms stacking will stack the healing, so you can even double or possibly even triple that healing in the right circumstances. Once again, the star power does not affect turrets or other spawnables, only brawlers. Okay guys, now that we've covered the basics for Sandy, let's jump into the Olympics tests and see how he compares to all the other brawlers. The range test. Now for Sandy's regular attack, he has a range of 6 1/3 tiles, which is exactly as long as Nita's attack, and 1/3 tile longer than Frank's, and 2/3 tiles shorter than and Pokos. For attack range, this places Sandy in 21st out of 29 brawlers. However, for super range, he has a throw range of 7 tiles, but then his Sandstorm has an additional radius of 6 2/3 tiles, and that comes to a massive range of 13 2/3 tiles. When compared to all the attacks and all of the supers in their best circumstances, Sandy has the 7th longest range in the game. That is right between Bo's Mines at 13 tiles and Barley's Super at 14 tiles. The race test. Now Sandy actually has an above average movement speed and moves just as fast as Frank, Rosa, El Primo, and several of the other tankier brawlers. He doesn't have any abilities to make him move faster, so it takes 11.6 seconds to go from the bottom of the map to the top, and he has a movement speed of 2.57 tiles per second. This ties him with Frank and Rosa for 12th place when it comes to the race test. The survival test. At 5.6 thousand HP at max level, Sandy already has a decent amount of survivability. Not the most, but certainly not the least. However, using his second star power, Healing Winds, he can heal himself up for 3.6 thousand HP, allowing him to survive for 25 seconds in total. This ties him with Frank for 4th place. I think the craziest thing about this is that this insane survivability gets passed on to other teammates when this star power is activated. The attack test. For every attack, Sandy deals 1,260 damage to any target caught within range. That's actually the same amount of damage as Mortis does with a single attack, and that ties him for 23rd place in the attack test. That's right between Jean at 1.4 thousand damage and Penny at 1.176 thousand damage. Now with that said, this is enough to 3-shot the following brawlers with ease: Spike, Tick, Piper, Rico, Barley, and Crow. And with one more shot reloaded, Sandy will be able to 4-shot Colt, Dynamite, Brock, Leon, Tara, Penny, Jesse, Bo, Shelly, and Jean. I think you guys can see how despite his low attack damage and slow reload speed, the fact that Sandy has a faster than average movement speed, a decent range, and an easy attack to hit, Sandy will be very deadly against most of the brawlers in the game. The reload test. Now it takes Sandy 6.45 seconds to completely unload and reload 3 shots, which places Sandy in 14th out of the 29 brawlers in the game. Right in the middle, this places Sandy's reload speed for a single attack to 2.15 seconds, which is right between Jesse at 2.2 seconds and Dynamite at 2.1 seconds. The super test. I guess in Sandy's case, we're actually looking at the Rude Sans star power test, because without the star power, his super does not deal any damage to enemy brawlers at all. Its whole purpose is making friendly brawlers go invisible. My guess is that most enemy brawlers won't chill inside a sandstorm for an entire 12 seconds, but if the player does, they will take 2.4 thousand damage in total. This actually places Sandy in 14th place, just behind Spike and Tick at 2.8 thousand damage, and Frank is right below Sandy at 1.68 thousand damage for the super test. The charge test. Now it requires 5 hits in order for Sandy to charge up his super. Because Sandy has to reload his attack twice, it takes him 5.3 seconds against a single target to charge up his super. This is actually the same as Mortis, which isn't really super impressive. This places Sandy in 20th place for the supercharge test when compared against every other brawler in the game. The boss test. Sandy takes a really long time to complete the boss test. This is due to the fact that he has a low damaging, slow reloading attack, and the fact that his super doesn't deal any damage by itself. Even with the help of his star power dealing an additional 200 damage per second the entire time, it takes Sandy 2 minutes and 5 seconds to complete this test. This places Sandy in 26th out of 29 brawlers, and in case you're curious, he's between Leon at 90 seconds and Mortis at 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Sandy certainly is not a damage dealer against a single target, at least not over a long period of time. The swarm test. Now in the swarm test, Sandy can use Rude Sand star power to help take out the bots with a single attack. By using 3 attacks, he's able to wipe out the entire swarm in 3.3 seconds, which ties him in the past with Colt for first place, Colt and Tara for first place. However, if Sandy is allowed to use the previous swarm to prepare 3 sandstorms, he's able to get rid of the next swarm in 2.1 seconds, giving him first place and forcing Colt into second place. The Rude Sand star power is excellent against multiple enemies, especially when you can stack it 3 times. The dive test. And despite not having very much DPS, Sandy does incredibly well because the sandstorm actually hides him for 12 seconds. He can run in a bit, conceal his whereabouts using sandstorm, unload a ton of shots at least as much as possible within 12 seconds are up, and then Sandy can run back out, heal up, and charge in for a second go. In total, Sandy is able to deal 13.74 thousand damage to the Ike turret, bringing it down by 46% with a single push. Now, I still need to redo this test to make the rules more applicable to actual battle, but by my calculations, this gives Sandy the second highest dive potential in the game. It's actually kind of funny because Supercell released Siege and then released 8-Bit and Sandy, who are 2 brawlers that are both insanely good at diving on the turret. It's just kind of funny. Okay, now we've done all the individual tests. Now let's actually piece them all together and discuss why I think Sandy is going to be so strong. Now, we've learned from Leon how absolutely broken invisibility can be. In fact, one of the biggest ways that Supercell has nerfed Leon since his original release, when he was the strongest brawler in the game, it was mostly done by decreasing the amount of time that he can be invisible. And Sandy takes this to a whole new level. Not only can Sandy go invisible for 12 seconds, his teammates can go invisible as well. I don't know about you, but I do not want a Bull or a Shelly or a Leon without a super going invisible and going crazy on me because, gosh, you guys get it. Now, enemy brawlers will know the general location of where invisible brawlers will be lurking, and that's one reason why Leon's invisibility is still like better in that aspect, but you can absolutely see how strong this sounds. Additionally, Sandy is kind of like a long-ranged Mortis. They deal the same amount of damage and have attacks that are difficult to dodge once you're within range. Except, Sandy's attack actually reloads just a bit faster. So although Sandy doesn't offer consistent DPS, his burst potential is pretty insane, even though his super doesn't deal damage by itself. I also think that both of Sandy's star powers are pretty fantastic. The ward-like effect of Rude Sands is incredible, and it'll help cover a massive area on the field because of how long it lasts. 12 seconds is a long time to have control over such a big area. On the flip side, Healing Winds offers a ton of survivability to the entire team, and the fact that it covers such a big area means that it's not really a waste to use it on a teammate who's on the verge of death, because there's a good chance that you'll still be able to use that area to an advantage, even when you do just use it to heal a teammate. Overall, I think that Sandy is going to be a slightly above average brawler in solo showdown. Only slightly above average because he's just strong overall, but he's going to be even better in duo showdown. I think that Sandy is going to be absolutely game-breaking in modes where control are really important, like Gem Grab and Siege. One Sandstorm is going to be enough to control the Siege field basically for the entire duration that you had to pick up those bolts before the next bot's able to respawn. Not exactly, but you get the idea. I think that Sandy will also be insanely good at Brawl Ball as long as he has teammates that can melt through those tanks. A little bit team dependent, but you get, once again, that invisibility, it's insane. I also think that Sandy overall is a strong brawler, meaning that he'll be strong in Bounty and Heist, although I don't think that those modes favor him as well as the other modes. Overall, I think that Sandy's going to be very strong when he's first released, and he's going to have a massive impact on the meta across the boards, but especially the competitive meta, where most players are going to have Sandy pretty much right off the bat because they're willing to spend to keep themselves competitive, and most teams, I think, are going to have a Sandy on their team, at least to start out with. He's incredibly unique, and I think that he absolutely deserves that legendary rarity because of how unique his skills are. Personally, I really can't wait to play him against actual players. I've played him a lot against bots, but you guys know how that doesn't really prove anything. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you're excited for Sandy to be released. I know it's another legendary brawler. For those of you that are curious, another legendary brawler being added into the game doesn't actually increase your rates of getting legendaries. That's not how Brawl Stars work. It's not like Clash Royale, so that's kind of a bummer. But once you do get him, he's going to be awesome. Just hope you can get him before Supercell nerfs him. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about Sandy and whether you agree with me in the fact that he's going to be completely game breaking. So make sure you drop a comment in the section below regarding that. And for now, guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.